my mindset when it comes to this music stuff, like I just wanted to get my stuff heard. First and foremost, yeah, like I wasn't the most talented beat maker in my mind when I first started this shit. I just was making beats on like my iPhone. Just was like it was around COVID, and I had nothing better to do than start posting them, and kind of enjoyed just seeing something grow like organically, you know. And over time, yeah, I just was astounded by like how I was able to build like a community. Like people actually fuck with my music, not just my music, but me as a person too, you know. And then that's when I started kind of showcasing more of my actual life in my music, because then it just goes hand in hand. It becomes synonymous with who you are. Like your music is cool, but like people want to see the person behind the beats at the end of the day. So like I kind of like built this little aesthetic in my apartment that's playful. It's cool. It's like it's clickable content that people would like to gravitate to. It's kind of relatable content most of the time. Like I'll have like old school Game Boys in my video, shit that resonates with people and kind of hits hits home a bit. You know, like shit that'll make them feel like, oh, we're from the same era. We like the same shit. Let me like see what this guy's about.
Yeah, no, I feel that, and I noticed that right away, man. Like you really were putting something really um, polished and what I feel like is um, just like an overall, like I said, just like a dialed in aesthetic, man. That I feel like made you definitely stand out. Just the consistency of your uploads on top of that too. But to kind of take it back, like I want to learn like how did this all begin for you? Like, what was your introduction to hip hop? What was your introduction to hip hop production, and when did that start from for you?
So it's funny because I was born in 1994. And around I think 2001, I go visit my cousins up in Canada. I'm actually going there next week because the cousin who's involved in the story is actually getting married. So I'm going to see his marriage. But he was at the time he was writing for a hip hop blog, and he was very in tune with the scene. He used to put me on. I don't know if you're aware, like the beef documentaries back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Like they would talk, it would just go in depth about rap beef, and like he would give me his iPod Touch or whatever the fuck, and like I would just watch those. But this is that was like 2005. But before that, they put me on to like old school pop. I'm from LA. I was born in LA, but never really like listened to the music. Um, put me on the Pac. Like me, and him, and my other cousin Umer. They put me on the Pac at a very early age, and I remember they bought me this MP3 player called an iRiver, and on the iRiver they just threw a bunch of shit on there, like old school, like Star Trek, right, like Pharrell shit, Pac shit, like a bunch of just a whole spectrum of rap. And I used to be like, dude, I like that one song, Ambitions as a Radar. Like that shit was hard. Like that Tupac one. It was Ambitions as a Rider. Like I used to just say it like that, and then like I would just listen to that shit. My mom would be like, "What are you listening to?" And she took it from me one day, and she like was like, "Oh hell no, hell no," and that just made me want to do it, like listen to it even more. Like, why can't I like this shit? It sounds cool. And I just grew up listening to a bunch of hip hop. Did my research, was on LimeWire throughout middle school. Listened to Mad Villain and Mad Villainy in middle school, like 'cause the Boondocks, and like a bunch of research I did on my own. Got into like a lot of new jobs because of anime, Nujabes. I'm sure you're familiar. Nujabes, and really just tapped in with this like kind of lo-fi shit early, and also Dilla. My cousin put me on to like what was the intro to Donuts, the Donuts intro, and that's when I did my research on Dilla, and just domino effect, bro. You fall into that YouTube like spectrum. That's when YouTube was popping off, like just kind of just going all through the YouTubes about old school rap, all the lime wires, dude. Like I really did my hip hop shit. I really feel like I deserve like my place because I really knew my shit. Like I really listened to this shit. I was about the shit. I didn't really try to appropriate it in any way. Like hip hop is literally me. Like it's me. I'm from a Pakistani family, but to each his own, man. I feel like hip hop is embedded to who I am for sure.
Take it off the motherfucking set. Yeah.
Like with sampling, I don't like the gatekeeping involved with sampling. It's like very strange, like how old school old heads be like, "Nah, man, don't sample snitch." I get it, right? But like, I just fucking go on. I split screen my app with Discord, and I drag and drop samples all the time from just other artists, fucking shit that they post, And I don't like to gatekeep. If I'm gonna ask me to sample, I'm gonna throw it to them. But like sampling is just like is as much of an art as making music, like like by yourself, like organically making music yourself, like through chord progressions and shit like that. I think sampling, having an ear for sampling, is just as much as a talent as being able to play like a fucking insane chord melody. You know?
100%. I mean, a lot of people do. I mean, I think less and less you hear the accusation of or sampling is stealing because like it's just much more of an accepted art form and just the catalog that's been created from it is undeniable, man. I mean, especially the stuff from back in the day. But yeah, I 100% agree with you on the sample snitching stuff. Like, I think it's a new day, man. We're in the era, especially our generation. I was born in the 90s too. Like, we're in the era of transparency. You know what I mean? Like, nothing is hidden anymore. And I mean, and it's the time in music, especially if we're talking about like preserving an art form. And I believe I really want to evolve the art form of sampling and just take it even further. You know what I mean? Not just like stay in one lane and stay in one sound, but just keep experimenting. I want producers to continue to like do even crazier stuff with it. But it's like in order for that to happen, like we gotta like stop digging our heels into this like old school mentality of, oh, we can't say anything about what sample I used or who used what. Or I mean, I understand like the legalities behind, because I mean the way that they did stuff back in the day was like a lot of times wasn't technically cleared, and so producers kind of get into choppy water sometimes with that. But it's like, man, like if you're just like some dude on the come up or someone who just does it for fun and you like don't feel like sharing, I don't understand that mindset. You know what I mean? Like it's all about taking it forward and each one teach one. You know what I mean?
Like a cold down on the hands, free bomb. The 84 chrome on the blade, putting it wrong. You got 16, you can get a visitor. I'm choking on that Delta sweet and sipping on that dessert. Like a cold down on the hands, free bomb. The 84 chrome on the blade, putting it wrong. You got 16, you can get a visitor. I'm choking on that Delta sweet and sipping on that dessert.
On the last point of kind of taking things forward and continue to push the art form, the iPad. You're making these crazy beats, these compositions with Koala Sampler. I think every music producer who samples and has an Instagram page probably has Koala on their phone or iPad at this point in time. Man, I mean that thing is like blown up. I think COVID did a good job of like really exposing it to a lot of producers too. I have it on my iPad too. When did that come into the picture for you? When did that become sort of your weapon of choice and something you decided to stick with?
Man, like I don't know. So I started off on just I never touched a DAW or hardware in my life. Just always listened to music as a fan of the music, and just knew like I've heard enough music in my life that if I ever wanted to make music, I feel like I'd be inclined to like know how some drum patterns are supposed to be sounding and like things like that. And then got the app called iMachine around 2016, I think, and like fucked around and made some shit. Like I was watching heavy rhythm roulette shit at the time, so I was trying to do sample and shit on an app, and it wasn't hitting that well. They had like some pre-made sounds on there and like pre-made kits that I would make beats on, but it wasn't really doing much for me. So I kind of just dabbled into that, in and out of that. And around 2021 is when I picked that up again. I was like, damn, I really want to start like making music now, but I only know how to on an app, fuck it. And I started doing that, and then around COVID, when I was like just down bad, had nothing else to do. I was like, let me just start posting these little beats, and like people liked it because I had a little aesthetic to it. Like I was doing like no, not of the edits that I was doing nowadays, but like old school edits with like Giphy like emotes and like just funny, like fun little shit. Like I always try to create a theme. So if the beat wasn't that good, it was the visual that caught people's eye, and like I was getting followers generally through that traction. And then around April of 2020, I saw someone named 8 Greg. I don't know if this guy. He does a lot of shit on the Pocket Operator.
Yeah.
Uh, he's one of the main guys on the Pocket Operator. He posted a video about him making a beat on his app called Koala Sampler, and I like reached out to him. I was like, because they have effects that you can like make live effects on your beats, and I was like, that is the reason why I want that app, because I can't do that on the machine app that I'm on right now. And he sent it to me, and I'm like, well, this app looks fucking complicated as shit. I have no idea what I'm doing. Like I didn't even know how to mix on that app. I didn't know how to do a fucking thing on that app. And like one of the first beats I made on it was pretty hard. It was pretty good. And then just ever since then, it just felt intuitive. It felt better than iMachine. Like it felt more modern, new age. It felt like an actual sampler, and like I really didn't know what a sampler was at that time either. Like what a SP404 was. I just saw that Kilroy at the time. That's actually funny because Kilroy was one of the first people I followed, and I remember thinking, damn, I want to make beats like this fucking kid. Like this kid is going crazy right now. I want to fucking have a following like this kid, and just grinded, networked around the people in the same niche as me, like just that lo-fi shit, boom bap shit, kind of just like spam following motherfuckers, trying to just get into their comment sections, try to see like who's fucking with me back, like, and that's why I genuinely just kind of like marketed myself as just like I don't know, just kind of just relatable dude, like just trying to make beats, trying to learn. I was just trying to learn everything I could at the time because it was just the beats were making sense, and like I was getting cosigns from like I had went on a knowledge stream one time, and he like said, "Oh shit, you made this shit on your iPad? That's crazy." And like I was like, "Oh, I was so inspired." Then I was like, "All right, let's get this shit going, bro. Let's get this shit going. Let's figure it out." And I just learned how to do koala sample to its fullest because I like the limitations of it. There's not much you can do with it, but if you're creative and you have ideas, you can do so much with it.
Hey yo, hey yo.
You were doing the posting the snippets, doing that consistently all throughout, like sort of the peak of COVID and whatnot. At what point? Because you just put out a project not too long ago, Interloops. At what point in the process did you decide, like, okay, I've been putting out these snippets for a while now, I'm starting to build an audience, I think it's time to take the next step and put together like a full cohesive project?
I just felt like I was being selfish with this shit. Like everyone would be DMing me and commenting like, "Yo, where can I cop this? Where can I listen to this?" And for me, it was never really about selling my music. I just kind of wanted to like post that shit on Instagram. Like I call myself this nowadays, like more than a beat maker. I'm just like a like a social media content beat maker. Like just not necessarily like I want to be put in a box as like a beat maker because I'm just primarily use Instagram as my outlet to showcase music. And I think it's pretty cool because like you'll go about your day, you'll scroll past it, you'll see something that you like and you like it, and it's like a little snippet of a song or a beat, but it's just a loop, you know, like it ain't crazy, but it make you feel something the way I kind of present it to people as like this is what I'm doing. I'm just making beats on an iPad and I'm getting a following off of it. That's kind of dope. Like people see that and they get inspired by it. So at this point, I kind of just want to inspire people, you know?
So why go from that? Why not just keep putting out the snippets, like kind of like you were, and instead of putting together a
Oh yeah, my
project?
bad.
Yeah.
My bad. You're gonna find that out with me. Like I kind of just like I go into fucking tandems, bro. I'm sorry.
No, I
No,
love
yeah.
it.
So yeah, my mind works very strangely. But I I just wanted to sell something and put something out there to make kind of me feel established as a beat maker and kind of just test out the waters, you know. And I'm gonna start posting a lot more shit on Bandcamp this year. Now that I kind of just hit this 10K mark, I feel like I got something I gotta provide to people now, and people want to listen to my shit and they want to know why I have a following. So I want to put out beats, and people are gonna listen to them, and they're gonna want to fucking they want to purchase them. I think the music that I'm making now is some of the best music I've been making ever, and it's consistently now. Like I can make music like this consistently without stressing out about it. And now I'm just gonna throw out the loops, not really think too much about a cohesive project in general, because at the end of the day, people just want to hear the loops over and over again. That's how I think about it. I just kind of like listening to loops. I don't really mind fucking crazy song structure. Like fuck it, if it's raw, people like that shit even more.
What were, if you were to give a few tips to someone who wants to build their own following from their music, just based upon your experience and what you've been able to accomplish up until this point, what sort of advice would you give to them?
Nowadays, it's not necessarily about like the genuine marketing or the networking. Like nowadays, you can just pop off on one reel and get a following, which I don't like that much. I like the way I kind of did my shit because it was like the hard way. I didn't really just pop off on like TikTok or something like that and gain like fake followers that don't really care. They just were curious to see if you're gonna blow up or not. But I generally feel like I have a community now. So with other people, I kind of just want people to build a community. But nowadays, I'd recommend just like posting on reels, post little carousel posts, post clickable content because if you end up on the explore page, which is the main reason why some of my posts pop off, you're gonna want like a thumbnail that looks fucking good and aesthetic, you know, like clear, not many filters. Don't be over spamming filters like a motherfucker. Like keep that shit raw. Off iPhone camera does fine because it's relatable. People only see shit mostly on iPhone cameras, anyways. So yeah, just make shit clickable. That's what I'd say nowadays. Like have shit that is colorful, bright, stands out. Don't over edit. Like make your shit short and sweet. Don't fucking have an intro that's like 30 seconds long, then the beat, like shit like that. Just get straight to the point because that's just like we're in an era now. You just gotta scroll, scroll, scroll. You don't catch someone's attention in 3 seconds. Scroll, scroll, scroll. Like you gotta fucking catch someone's attention.
From what I can hear in a lot of things that you're saying, it seems like you don't overthink at all what it is that you create. You seem to be very kind of to the point and raw with the way that you make your beats and with the way that you put together your videos and everything.
The way like now I do it, it's just like it's part of my life. It's part of my daily. It's just like writing in your diary at this point. Like I know how to capture a moment really fastly, and it's not. It doesn't feel like I'm forcing it. But like back in the day, I used to overthink this shit all the time. Like I used to fucking want to put so much time into an edit, and sometimes it would work. But when it didn't work, I would be so devastated. I'd be upset. I'm like, damn, what the fuck happened? Why didn't it pop off like I wanted it to? So after that shit started happening, I was like, all right, don't overthink this shit. Throw something out that looks cool, sounds dope. It'll catch someone's eye. It'll catch someone else's eye, like someone new. I'll get at least one new follower from this, I think. And that's what my mindset was. If someone else that has never seen my shit before sees it, will they like this? Let's see. And I'll just throw it out. Like sometimes the beats that popped off the most or the videos that popped off the most were like me just like fuck, I gotta go to work, but I haven't put content out like in a couple of days. Fuck, I don't want to feel like I'm being stagnant. I'll just sit on my couch, throw my hat on or whatever, throw my fucking camera setup up, and just fucking make a 30-second video real quick, one take, and just throw it out there, and they'll pop off. Or if they don't pop off, I won't get mad about it. The next one will. Just always think about the next one because that's how the algorithm is. I've been studying this algorithm on Instagram for quite some fucking time.
Go ahead, do it for me. 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 Go ahead, do it for me.
What is your creative process like? I mean, how do you go about starting off a beat? Do you start with a sample, you start with the drums, or do you kind of like just fill it out each time? What is it? How do you go about that?
I'm always trying to create a different kind of drum pattern with like a different flow or rhythm, and then I'll have that looping, live looping, and then I'll just go through my Discord or my Files app on my split screen, and then I'll just drag and drop random shit over that people will just randomly throw up on Discord, and like I'll just be like, if it makes sense, it makes sense. It's just fucking fate at this point, because some of these samples, bro, they just only make sense over some of the drums I'm making. I'm like, how the fuck does this make like it comes together so authentically? Like I don't get it. And I always DM the guy. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna use your sample. Is that cool? I'm gonna post on Instagram and tag you. I'm not trying to steal someone's shit, but if it makes sense over my beat, I'm gonna fucking go with it, and I'm gonna fucking make it my own. Obviously, I'll chop it up or even Diddy loop it. I don't give a fuck. I hate that people don't care. Like people that don't like respect people who Diddy loop. Like let that sample do its job, bro. Like if the sample is good by its own, you don't need to chop that bitch up all the time. You know.
I mean, anyone who's a Madlib fan, like if
You
you
know.
can't say you like Madlib and say that you're against looping, like you're just fraudulent if you
Yeah.
you're a hypocrite if you say that.
Flag on the play. Like I can't respect people who just only like to chop up shit every fuck. Like it's just like let that sample do its job, man.
was gonna ask like what has been, living in the deep. I live in the South too. I live in North Carolina, but you're further south than I am, and you're from, or you live in, or lived in, such a historic place in hip hop. Houston. You just mentioned Zero. Of course, one of the first people reference is DJ Screw, UGK, Pimp C, people like that. you know, uh, what has there been any of that influence into the way that you create, or and maybe not explicitly in the way that you create, but just the overall approach to music? Because I noticed, and I don't know if you've noticed this or not, and I don't know if this is an intentional thing, but listening to your project, I've gone through it several times now. Some of your stuff is a slower tempo.
Oh yeah, there's that one track with J Cole that literally feels like a slowed down H Town track. Uh,
Yeah. So is that
so no,
intentional?
yeah, that was like definitely inspired from like Houston, like kind of like riding down what's the fucking Highway 59, like just cruising the fucking like chop and screwed zero, like just all sorts of shit, man. We used to fuck around and roll blunts and just roll down 59 and listen to fucking old school DJ Screw shit. And like so this is where I can answer your question about how like that might have influenced me. So around that time when I was just kind of fucking around in high school, we would just freestyle a fuck ton, you know? We would freestyle all the time. We'd light up a blunt and just freestyle on the whip for hours. And freestyling kind of just like, okay, so I see this like this, how freestyling translated into my hip hop is that I see all these sounds as just a way of freestyling and rapping with them. Like I feel like I sometimes rap with my hi hats to like create pockets that don't necessarily hear. Like the way you kind of rap on a beat, like your cadence and your flow, I kind of use sounds to mimic that and feel like something's cutting the beat, like how a rapper would cut the beat. And I'm not gonna act like I'm fucking really good at freestyling, but I've learned a lot of flows. I've learned a lot of nuances and like just ways of like kind of like I don't know hitting a pocket on a beat. So like I've learned a lot through freestyling, and that translates to my beats for sure. That's an interesting question because yeah, I don't really tell people that like freestyling helped me a lot in terms of how I make my beat.
That makes a lot of sense because when I listened to Doomcast, the last track on your tape, the one of the things that really sticks out, and one of the things that really carries that track is the hi hat pattern.
Yeah, those clicky little hi hats, like
Yeah.
they have a syncopation to them, right? Like a person that is saying something, but through
Hmm.
like clicks. It's like it's a strange thing that I do. I kind of feel like I hit these like weird ass like hypnotic like hi hat patterns or perk patterns that kind of just like hypnotize you in the beat. It's like very like I don't know. It's like mesmerizing. I feel like I love when I do that kind of shit with hi hats.
Yeah, nigga, once again, and we have MOBB, nigga. Yeah, uh, yeah, yeah, nigga, once again, and we have.
So where do you want to go from here when it comes to your music? What do you? How far in the future do you think when it comes to your music, or are you just kind of staying in the moment with everything right now?
Like yeah, I don't overthink about what it can be because years ago or like months ago I'm like I would love to be in the position I am now, like with the following and what I'm doing. Like I just don't overthink because I know throughout time I'm going to be doing what makes sense to me at the time. Ideally, I want to like I said earlier, I want to like pioneer this new kind of new age, like social media content beat maker ass influencer type motherfucker. Because I think that shit is cool. Like if like a fucking what like imagine some kind of business hits me up and is like, yo, we want you to come like make some content at our place or like make a little beat video there. Like that'd be cool to showcase it like local places, local spots, and like fucking get like some brand deals going. Like that shit would be cool to me. Ideally. I do want to be operating in studios with rappers, but I don't care to that much, you know. If I, 'cause I told you I rap, right? Like sometimes I don't be like letting motherfuckers rap on my beats because sometimes I don't think they rap better than me, and if they don't, I don't feel like they rap better than me. I don't want them on my beat. It's fair enough, right?
I
It's
love
kind
it.
of yeah. I mean, that's like we're little producers are arrogant motherfuckers. I can be a little arrogant, but I'm more so about just like letting the beat fucking speak more than like the rapper. Because like music and beats, like instrumental hip hop is still very slept on, and I want to kind of showcase that people literally just like listening to beats. Like they don't care to hear someone spitting on that shit all the time.
Going down right here. Hey. Yo, what up, bro? Tell 'em. Hey, hey, yeah. Say that, though. Yo, what up, bro? Hey, yo, what up, bro? Tell 'em.
What's next for you? I mean, so you just put out the drum kit today, the Koala kit, is that right?
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. It's been
real
doing
quick,
numbers. I'm actually really surprised.
okay, yeah. I mean, tell me real quickly about how that process came about because you did it with Strong Maurice, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's the guy. So I was blunt about this shit, right? I was very blunt about this shit. I hit up him and well eventually Obong, the other guy involved. I go, hey bro, like I want to put out a kit. I want to provide some value. I got a following. I want to like provide some value to these motherfuckers. Like I ain't the best sound designer. I don't know how to make a sound kit or anything like that, but I know you're really good at what you do. Like Strong Maurice is a monster. He knows so much about this music shit and how to process sounds and do this. And I love his beats, the textures he uses, the foley's he's using. And I was like, yo, what if we like recorded a lot of sounds through our Koala app and kind of just like if I send it to you, would you be able to process those for me and we can kind of collab on this? And he's like, yeah, for sure. Like I got a bunch of shit already done like through Koala. Like I have a bunch of stuff we can do. And this man, like he did that shit and he's threw in like chords. He threw in chords, one shot chords and like bass notes. And then I was like, so what are we gonna do about the kicks and snares and hi hats? Because I don't really know how to do that. I can make sounds like wonky little sounds from Koala like, in my apartment, but I can't really make like heavy sounding kicks and snares. So I hit up my boy. He sent me some drum loops a couple weeks before that, and I went through them. I was like, damn, these sound good. And I hit him up. I was like, hey, are these you? Like you made these? Like yeah, bro. I'll be going to the studio and making these drum loops and then processing them through the SB303. I'm like, word. Would you want to like join this little project we're working on and like we'll give you full credit. We're gonna split this shit evenly, all the profits. So we got that going. Collabed for about a month and a half on it, trying to figure out what we're gonna do, what kind of sounds, and we came to like a very good understanding. Like we came to the similar mindset. Like yo, like let's not overcomplicate this shit. People don't want a million fucking kick sounds. Let's get 7 kick sounds, 7 hi-hat sounds, 7 snares. But the main goal was to give people these one shots and these textures and these foley's because that's what makes beats interesting to me nowadays. The sound choices people use and like the fucking wonky little clicks and clacks that people put in beats and the off tempo swing that textures give, and that's the main value in the kit. Like the kicks and the hats are fucking dope, lo-fi, just standard. But the value is in the other sounds, the sounds that provide rhythm and groove and texture.